Okay, so Jody is all in. Are you all in? So CS for All is going to be a success when it is normal for students to have access to computer science, when it's a normal class, when kids are like, oh my gosh, I have my computer science homework. It should be part of school. And I actually had a conversation with Eric Alata from the Academy for Software Engineering in New York, and he was like, this is going to be a thing when it's just part of life and all kids take it, and some like it and some don't. But we have to at least give them the chance to find out if they like it, and not just expect them to somehow magically fit our stereotype and get pulled into the system we have now. So to that end, it is very important that computer science exists in school. All students, the one place where we can have access to all students is in school. So a number of things have been done in the last decade, really, to build this pipeline and to create this movement, and so much so that the president decided it was worth talking about in the first paragraph of his State of the Union. And this is really exciting stuff. I have been at this for more than a decade, along with Dr. Jan Cuny, who's going to speak next. So I dug into the fact sheet a little bit, and I've read this thing really over and over and over, and Kumar's probably read it equally as many times. And there are 9 pages of commitments focused specifically on bringing CS to students in schools and preparing teachers. That is great news, 9 pages. So from the University of Nebraska at Omaha committing to doubling the number of CS teachers in their state, to Project Lead the Way's new online course that they're providing to their members, to Code.org planning to train 40,000 new teachers this next year, and the Colorado School of Mines and a number of partners are stepping up once again to host CSPD Week, which this last year was this huge room of teachers at every different level learning different curricula. And the funny thing about CSPD Week, and I came by and gave a little talk for a breeze of a moment, and they were staying in these dorms, and these are adults. They're not used to sharing rooms, and they're not used to sharing bathrooms, and they were like, oh, why are we staying in these dorms? Within like a couple of days, it was like camp, and everybody was arm in arm, and you couldn't pry them apart. And that community that was built, like Dr. Brother said, a community of practice, having those teachers get connected to each other vertically at all levels, so that that middle school teacher knows to push that kid to the next class in high school, knows who that teacher is. That community is really important. So I'm going to introduce a number of people, and they're actually going to introduce themselves in sequence, but to start it off is really our big, huge champion for computer science education from the National Science Foundation, and someone I have known for a long, long time and was in the first class of women admitted to Princeton University, Dr. Jan Cuny.
Thank you. I was also admitted to Princeton before they even had a computer science department, so I had an independent major in computer science. It sounds like I did a lot of book reports, but really it was a course. Okay, so I'm here to talk a little bit about preparing teachers. If you think about how hard it is to get computer science into every school across the country, the hardest piece of that is getting a great computer science teacher in every school across the country, and every grade across the country if we're going to do K-12. We really want great teachers. We want teachers who are going to excite kids by doing project-based and inquiry-based learning. We want kids doing things and building things and making them. We want teachers who are going to have equity at the front of every lesson that they give, so that we have all students really participating. We want teachers that are going to inspire students to be really creative problem solving and use the computers to their fullest capability. And we want these teachers to be able to show kids the really wide range of applications that there are in computing and how computing is relevant to their lives and their interests. So we're asking a lot of these teachers. And we don't have many teachers currently in the schools who were trained in computer science. So the professional development that's needed is really significant. NSF is committed to supporting projects that provide models of professional development, effective and evidence-based professional development. We have a number of those projects that we've been funding. We're funding, as you heard from Joan and Jim, a bunch more starting this year. One of our focuses has really been on high school. The professional development that you need to get a high school teacher in who can do an AP course or exploring computer science, a more introductory course, that's a lot of work that a teacher has to go through to become ready to do that. And I wanted to say that over this last summer, the projects that NSF supported trained 1,215 high school teachers. That's actually quite a big number. And we have partners who are also doing a lot of this work. So Code.org, Project Lead the Way, and NIMSY also train teachers. Together, that group trained another 1,492, which brings us up almost to 3,000 teachers this year. And where are those teachers? Can we see the map here? It's very hard to see, but they are all over the country, right? They are everywhere. So it's really hard, as I learned this week, to show 3,000 dots on a map in some way that's useful. So the small dots represent between 1 and 4 teachers. And the large dots then are proportionally larger and show large amounts, like down there around LA, we have 154 teachers in that area. The large dots get so big that they cover up small dots. So this is to give you an idea of where these 3,000 teachers are. This is roughly twice the number of teachers that we trained last summer. So altogether, I think if you look at just the courses, you see Exploring Computer Science and the CS Principles course, there's about 5,000 new teachers who are trained to teach these courses. So going just doubling from last year, a couple more years of doubling, and we will have teachers in every high school, which would be terrific. So. And next I wanted to introduce my colleague from the College Board. Lynn Diaz has led the College Board's effort to get CS Principles. Getting a new AP course from scratch is a whole lot more work and a whole lot more involved than I could possibly have imagined when we started. But Lynn has been there all the way, making this happen from the College Board's site. For years, Lynn and I have had conversations every 2 weeks. So it's been a very long process, and I am so excited that this course is now a reality in schools all across the country right now.
Okay, great. Thank you. I'm very excited to be here and be part of this event and this CS for All movement. I've actually invited some of our teachers and students up on stage here because I'm going to make some remarks about them. So I'm here on behalf of the College Board's Advanced Placement Program and very pleased to announce the official launch of the new AP Computer Science Principles course. So this fall, over 2,000 schools across the nation are offering AP Computer Science Principles to an estimated 25,000 students. That's a lot of students. This makes it the largest AP course launch ever for the AP program. This record launch is now more than double the size of the previous largest launch, which was back in 2002 with AP World History. So, you know, that had about 1,000 schools offering the course. This one has more than 2,000. I think the numbers that we got last week were closer to 2,200 or 2,400 schools. Schools in 49 states have indicated they are offering this course. AP Computer Science Principles is designed to engage many more students, especially women and students of color who are traditionally underrepresented in computer science. It is about access and it is about equity. The course integrates content and skills to develop future leaders in computer science and STEM fields. It introduces foundational concepts of computer science and challenges students to explore how computing and technology can impact the world. With a unique focus on creative problem solving and real-world applications, AP Computer Science Principles prepares students for college and career. The AP program recognizes the importance of teacher professional development, as Jan mentioned. The College Board offers AP Summer Institutes, and this past summer we had 70 summer institutes that were conducted across the country with approximately 1,400 teachers who participated in those workshops. And more than 30 one-day workshops will be offered throughout the academic year. Additionally, the AP program has endorsed 5 curriculum providers, many of them who are in this room today, and they offer their own professional development as well. This is great because it will help with the growing number of teachers needed to teach computer science. I want to make a few acknowledgments. Today, AP Computer Science Principles was created with significant support from the National Science Foundation. And I want to take a moment to attribute the efforts of Jan Cuny specifically for the success of the development of this new course. So let's give her a round of applause for this too. We also want to acknowledge the leadership of many high school and higher ed computer science educators across the nation who helped pioneer the development and piloting of this course at their own institutions. We want to thank the principal investigators of the National Science Foundation and College Board Project, who are Owen Astrachan, professor of the practice of computer science at Duke University, and Amy Briggs, professor of computer science at Middlebury College. Let's give them a round of applause as well, too. And we thank all the advisors and teachers for their commitment on this endeavor over the last 9 years, at least the last 9 years that I've been working on this to make all of this happen. Many of them are here in the room today, in the audience, and we couldn't have done it without their dedication. And let's also recognize the work that Ruth has done to bring us all together to make these announcements as well, too. Okay, so I brought Mr. Art Lopez and his students up here because I kind of wanted to share a little bit more about who they are. In the words of one of our AP-CSP teachers, Mr. Art Lopez from Sweetwater High School, I want to read a quote. He says, "If you learn about computer science, you have the ability to change the world." And he makes his students believe this, okay? He makes the students believe this. And that's exactly what he's doing here. He realized that while other surrounding and more affluent schools were offering computer science, his school did not. His school is a majority-minority school, and believing that his students deserve the same access to the opportunities that knowledge of computer science can provide, he brought AP Computer Science Principles to his school. And now, due to his efforts to expand CS education in his district, 10 of his high schools in his district are offering 19 computer science principles courses today. So thank you, Mr. Lopez. In his class, students learn to solve problems, they collaborate, they express their solutions with the programs that they write. I want to introduce to you a couple of his former students. One of them is Carla Gonzalez. When Carla heard computer science was being offered at her school, she wanted to take the course and states that, and I quote, "Learning computer science changed my perspective of school and about myself. I truly believe computer science is a valuable course in a student's academic career. Not many courses can teach creativity like computer science can." The course gave her a different level of self-confidence as she honed in on the creative aspects of the course, and taking the course encouraged her to pursue a degree in computer science, which she is now doing. So give her a hand. Another former student from Sweetwater High School, you heard a little bit about him today on the panel. He is now enrolled at Stanford University and majoring in mechanical engineering. He says that his motivation to taking the course was rooted in knowing that computer science affects every field and has such a profound influence in our lives today. Moreover, making computer science accessible to students of all backgrounds leads to sustainable, just, and inclusive innovations because diverse perspectives have created those solutions. So, what profound words to close with today. Let's give him a round of applause too. So this is what Computer Science Principles is all about. We have a 1-minute video that we would like to show. With that, I just want to say thank you to everyone for supporting CS for All and for your continued support with AP Computer Science Principles. Thank you very much. Can you play that video?
There's a movement across the country to try to bring computing to everybody. It's the digital literacy of the 21st century.
Whether it's medicine, religion, mathematics, physics, engineering, students are finding that what they learn in a computer science principles course is going to serve them well no matter what they go on to do.
We encourage high schools to offer it. Schools that teach an equivalent, as we do at Duke, are going to easily give credit for it. It's a rigorous, engaging course.
We actually talk about strategies for problem solving. Plan, implement, and test. And these are necessary in every area of your life, wherever you're going to work.
I challenge them with some exercises to think about how they can use technology to help solve a social issue.
The problems that we give in AP Computer Science Principles and the problems that are part of the assessment really lend themselves to an open-ended and creative problem-solving way of thinking. Computer Science Principles is special that way.
My school now looks at it as a great recruitment tool. Every student should have access to this course. I can't see any other course that does it better.
Okay, I'm going to hand it over to our next speakers, Charles Best from Donors Choose. They're doing lots of great stuff to support teachers for professional development, so we'll hand it over to him. Thank you. Thank you.
Hey there. Takia, Ms. Toomer, and I are here to share a way for any public school teacher in America to use crowdfunding to learn computer science and how to teach it. The vehicle is DonorsChoose.org, which is a website that I started when I was a history teacher in the Bronx, and Neil was one of our very first advocates. And it's a place where any public school teacher can create a classroom project request. It might be for books, for a field trip, for a pair of microscopes needed to do a science experiment, and then anyone can choose a project that they want to support. Started 16 years ago. My office was our classroom. Today, 400,000 teachers at 70% of all the public schools in the country have created project requests on our site. But over these last 16 years, those projects have strictly been for materials and experiences that students consume. That changed this year when we partnered with Infosys Foundation USA to, for the very first time, start letting teachers create professional development projects on our site, seeking resources so that they could become better teachers. And we launched this expansion of our model precisely so that teachers could now use our site to get funding to learn computer science and to become computer science teachers. It's early days, but 160 teachers at 150 public schools have already used our site and this match offer from Infosys Foundation USA to get the funding they need to learn computer science. Ms. Toomer is one of those teachers. Do you want to share your experience?
This summer, I was able to travel from Washington, D.C. to Los Angeles, California, to take the Bootstrap training, which was funded by Donors Choose, as well as Infosys Foundation USA, as well as the community. So local teachers, we fund everything anyway. Well, not everything. I won't say everything. We fund a lot of things for our students. We want them to have the best of everything. So it feels great to have a company like Donors Choose and resources from companies such as Infosys, Foundation USA, as well as other companies who have partnerships through Donors Choose to help fund teachers' projects. So as my student Francine spoke earlier about learning how to code using code.org. We've also used Scratch. So when that opportunity came about, when I saw it on DonorsChoose.org, I thought, wow, so that's a different one. This one was called Bootstrap. And it was incorporating algebra with coding and programming. So I'm thinking, wow, that sounds hard. But it was fun. You know, as teachers, we feel that we have to be smarter than the students, which really isn't, because once we introduce them or expose them to something, they take over. So I enjoy learning from my students, and I enjoyed the training from Bootstrap. Again, we created a video game, but before we got to that stage, we had to code and program algebra problems we had to work out the algorithms and put them together in order to have your video game at the end. So with the new STEM club that I will offer this year at school, the students will be introduced to Bootstraps and hopefully will enjoy it.
And I think What's vital, I think, for you to appreciate is that Ms. Toomer, she may have had actually a very cooperative school district leader, but thanks to this partnership, any public school teacher, no matter whether their superintendent has launched a computer science program or whether their principal is asking them to do it, any teacher of their own initiative, out of their own entrepreneurial spirit, can get crowdfunding and learn computer science and how to teach it. Infosys Foundation USA has a match for anyone giving to one of these projects, but we're looking for partners, companies, foundations who will support geographic-specific match offers for teachers who are looking to learn computer science no matter the barriers in their way. Thank you.
I think the interesting thing about Takia's story, and when I called her and talked to her about coming to speak here, I had said to Donors Choose, give me a list of teachers who use this platform this summer, and I looked at her, and she was the first one on the list, and I called her, I was like, Takia for the win. And what's so interesting about it is, you know, we as a community, we all kind of are in touch with each other and we know each other, but she wasn't part of our network. She was someone who was using Donors Choose to get stuff for her classroom. And she saw that opportunity, and that sparked in her this entrepreneurship to get herself the money and get herself trained. And that was just like last month that she did that. So really, really wonderful opportunity to help find the Takias out there around the country that have the initiative to get this going. And sometimes, you know, you can start from the top and you can start from the bottom at the same time, and we can come meet in the middle, which is really exciting. You might have noticed we've got a large lineup heading up onto the stage, and I think you guys wanted some handhelds, right? Okay, you gotta turn them on. So I talked before about how teachers are super, super important. But there's an entire ecosystem, a surround that exists for students that's really important. There's the after-school experience, there's the family experience, and then there's the academic institutions, which are the places they end up going. All of that community needs to support Computer Science for All as well, which is why I'm really excited to announce we have an entire section of the fact sheet about meeting students where they are, in the places where they go to school, where they go to church, where they live, at the Boys and Girls Club, getting to those students in the places where they are, not asking them to do something new or different, but getting to where they are. That overcomes a lot of the financial barriers that exist, transportation barriers, and that's how we can get to this equitably, because a lot more of the same group of people is not what we want, right? We want everybody participating, and it's really important that we all come to the table with this. So I'm gonna hand it off to Girl Scouts of the USA, and I hear they have planned a big show.
Thanks, Ruth. Good afternoon, everybody. I'd like to ask you a question. Who here in the audience has had a Girl Scout experience? Great, great. How many of you have been a Girl Scout? Okay. How many of you have been a volunteer? Wonderful. How about a parent of a Girl Scout? And my second to last question, who here has purchased Girl Scout cookies? Thank you. But here's my final question. Who here has sold Girl Scout cookies?
Did you know that there are 2 million Girl Scouts? Did you know that there are 800,000 adult volunteers in Girl Scouts? Did you know that there's over 60 million Girl Scout alumni? Lastly, did you know that there's Girl Scouts in over 90 countries worldwide?
And we're in every single zip code. So, for 100 years, Girl Scouts have been developing programming and badges in the STEM fields that we're really proud about. And what's even more exciting is that we know that every girl has the ability and the power to really excel in computer science fields, but we're really humbly proud to say that Girl Scouts also have the practice.
Just think. Oh,
Go ahead.
Just think of where we'll be. I'm sorry. Just think of where we'll be in the next 100 years of computer science.
Yep, we're really excited to look ahead. Looking to the future, we're really excited that computer science is one of Girl Scouts' STEM program focus areas. And we're really thrilled to be here today to make a commitment to the White House CS for All initiative. Does anybody know, by chance, what the first Girl Scout badges that were focused on STEM were?
Flyer.
Yep, for over 100 years we've been doing STEM badges and programming. So we're really thrilled to make a commitment to the White House CS for All initiative today. And we're here to commit to develop and launch computer science programming for Girl Scouts ages 5 through 18. We'll be providing computer science opportunities to as many as 2 million girls annually here in the US as well as overseas as part of our new STEM strategy focused on engineering, computer science, and outdoor STEM experiences. And the best part is,
we tell them what we want.
So our computer science programming development kicks off in January. We're the expert in girls. You all are all the experts in computer science. And we need content, we need volunteers, and we need partners. So we need them now, and we're asking you to help us work together to make sure that girls are the future of computer science. We're ready. Are you? Thanks so much, Ruth.
Absolutely. Little known fact, I was not allowed to be a Girl Scout because my father thought it would turn me into a feminist. And that kind of backfired, so. So next up, I spoke before about families. So we have a commitment that, believe it or not, literally came together last month. And then like this week, the funding came in, and I'm so excited about this because when you look in the unexpected places, sometimes you can find some really great points of leverage. So come on up.
Hi, everybody. I'm John Pierce, and here we have Eric and Karen. We'll introduce in just a second. We're so glad to be here in this incredible CS for All community. You people are unbelievably inspiring. It's just great to be here. As you know, getting elementary schools to add CS to their class lineup can be a real challenge. And that's a challenge that can best be addressed by the people who know their school the best and by the people who have the biggest stake in the outcome. Well, those people are often the parents and guardians who want more CS education for their kids. Now, so far, parents have been a largely untapped force in the CS for All movement. They're key influencers in their schools, and most importantly, they can have this defining influence in celebrating their children's progress in computer science learning. So how can we do more to apply the power of family engagement to support the CS for All movement? The best way we found is in an event that we call Family Code Night. This is a special free elementary school event based on that wonderful classic Hour of Code experience, at which kids and their parents pair up to do their first hour of coding together. The effect is really remarkable. Turnout at these events is huge, and you see breakthrough moments all over the room. A third grader and her mom sitting down together doing those simple coding puzzles and realizing together that they can code and that they like it and that they really want to do more of this. And they're sharing this experience with their friends and the whole school community. And for kids who have already done Hour of Code, it's even better. They are the perfect code coaches. You've never seen a kid so proud as a kid walking around the room with a little code coach button helping out parents working out the code.org puzzles. So everyone leaves Family Code Night eager for more. Now, at MV Gate, a nonprofit in Mill Valley, California, we've done more than 30 Family Code Nights for thousands of parents and kids. And we've built that experience into a fully scripted event kit. And today, with our partners SignuP.com and Watchdogs, we're announcing a program funded by the Capital One Foundation to effectively scale Family Code Night to any elementary school in the country. Karen?
Hi, I'm Karen Banaveras, and I'm the founder and CEO of SignuP.com. Empowering good works across the nation with our simple coordination tool, we've amassed a giant community of more than 8 million parents and volunteers active in their local schools. We're now taking the MVGate curriculum and packaging it in a self-service downloadable kit for any parent to be able to run this game-changing event at their own elementary school. The kit is available for download at signup.com/familycodenight, and we'll be promoting it to our influential school family community. We're also proudly powering with National Watchdogs to bring this kit and this event and experience to elementary schools throughout the country. Eric?
Thanks, Karen. I'm Eric Snow. I'm the Executive Director of Watchdogs. The DOGS stands for Dads of Great Students. And last school year, 500,000 fathers and father figures volunteered at least one full day in their child's school through this program. And that's in almost 6,000 Watchdog schools across 47 states. I will tell you, these men are highly motivated and they're action-oriented. And each of our Watchdog schools has a parent who serves as a program coordinator. And this can be a mom or it can be a dad, but they're always working together hand in hand with a member of the school's administration. And that really forms a powerful team to drive our model of family engagement forward. We're excited to introduce every single one of our Watchdog schools to Family Code Night. We think it's a natural fit, and we're confident that they're going to love it.
So what we got here is a really great event, a kit, a fantastic platform, literally millions of parent volunteers all over the country. And now with the support of the Capital One Foundation, an invitation to every elementary school in the country to put on a Family Code Night, and to every parent to help put on that event. And finally, to all of the wonderful CS for All organizations here, and the teachers and the high school kids, any of you can get engaged in this as well. It's a simple event to put on, and we'd love to have you partner with us to bring this school to the elementary schools you care about. And for any of you working on K-5 programs, this will jumpstart any program that you're working on, because once you get family engagement and parent support, it really accelerates your program. So we look forward to working with you. Thank you so much. That's it.
So as I mentioned before, and I think it was mentioned in the video by Dr. Astrakhan, that it's pretty critical that the universities that the kids go to are going to accept all these classes we're making for credit and embrace them and continue the hard work that we've done in K-12 to get them there. So to that end, I have Dr. Andy Burnett from the Computing Research Association here, and they are an organization of universities and practitioners that care very deeply about computer science research. And from their perspective, they need people who are going to become computer science researchers. And so he's got some exciting stuff to share.
Well, that was the first half of my talk, so it'll be even briefer. But first, I think this is an amazing event. So when this idea of computing education in public schools first came up, I first heard about it from Jan some years ago. I told her a list of a dozen reasons why it couldn't possibly happen. I mean, I'm an academic and I can find what's wrong with anything. But the difference was you all found what was right and made it work, and it's amazing. And I hope you appreciate that fully, or maybe you have to be somewhat of an outsider to appreciate it. But this is an amazing event. It's really happening. And of course, from my perspective, this can change education in this country. And how students, and I don't mean just computing students, I mean all students, can understand problems and work through real solutions. But now back to my script. I mean, I was just so fired up that I had to say something positive. And by the way, I had intended to be a K-12 teacher, and then I discovered how hard it was and became a university professor, which is a lot easier job than a K-12 teacher. And now I'm the executive director of this organization here in town, the Computing Research Association, which is a nonprofit association of academia, industry, and government, which is concerned with continuing the incredible innovation in the computing fields, which change the way we work, the way we live, changes everything about our lives. We need to do that, we need a strong research community. And the single most important thing to ensure a strong research community is strong researchers. So our concern is to have the diverse talent that we need to continue computing research in this country. We need the researchers of tomorrow. Over the last 10 years, as you heard, hundreds of university folks have been involved in these activities, from Owen and others working on the curricula, to implementing them, to developing tools, to doing professional development and so forth. They've been very active. Now we need to grow bigger, and I'm pleased to announce that we asked the heads of our members, over 220 academic departments, to join into this effort. And we have 75 signed up so far who have made firm, concrete commitments to join in with this effort and to extend CS for All across their areas and their faculty and their school districts through real actions. And we have a list of the actions, and some of us are pretty good at holding people to their commitments. We haven't given up. As I said, we have over 230 members, and we're going after the rest of them. When they see that they're not on the list, believe me, we'll get more signups. This support includes both faculty involvement in time, the development of innovative computing education products, support in teacher development, and working with K-12 teachers on how to do this better. My own personal thing, not telling K-12 teachers how to do it. I'm sure we'll get there. So these departments represent a critical resource for CS for All going forward, and I'm happy to say that all of us support them, thank them, and let's do this. It's just incredible. Thank you.
So I'd like to note that Dr. Brothers told me before that he had to actually leave this meeting for another meeting, but for some reason he's still here. So I think we've pulled him in. This is exciting. I've talked before, and I will keep saying that this is a community movement. It takes all of us, not some of us, and big and small, and ownership at every level, from what Ms. Barnett has been able to do from a tribal administration level, from a legislative level in her community, to what Deborah was able to do in her school. And we have so much energy in this community, and it's really, really exciting. So the next presentation I'd like to bring up to the stage is really, really exciting and led by a group of people from an organization known as CSNYC, which you've probably heard of. They've been doing a lot of work, and they kind of beat us to the punch on the CS for All name a while back, but we partnered up with them, and that's great, and a number of other partners, and I won't spoil it, but I will say that Leanne and I, actually, the first time we met, we never met, and somehow we got connected, and we drove from New York City, had to take a train and meet her downtown by the mayor's office, and she was really pregnant, and we drove to Baltimore, and I think I didn't stop talking the whole time, and probably she didn't either, so we've been fast friends and collaborators ever since. And then Michael joined in CSNYC a couple of years back, and they have been doing great stuff, and I'm looking forward to a lot more great stuff you'll hear about now.
All right, thank you. Ruth, thank you so much. This has been a pretty incredible event to be part of, and you've done an amazing job of bringing us together. It's so fantastic to be together with all of you. I'm Michael Preston. I am the executive director of CSNYC. We are a relatively new nonprofit based in New York City, a small town a few hundred miles north of here. We began a number of years ago when tech investor Fred Wilson was curious about the status of technology and computer science in the public schools in New York City. We are the largest school district in the country. We have 1 million students, over 1,700 schools taught by 75,000 teachers. We graduate about 70,000 students a year out of our high schools. now Fred saw that the tech sector in New York City has obviously grown quite a lot over the last decade or more. There are now about 300,000 jobs in this sector. It's grown about 60% in the last 10 years, more than any other sector. At the same time, computer science was fairly non-existent in the New York City school system, which I think is probably something that we have in common with everybody here. So how do we change this? Well, we started by opening 2 brand new high schools, the Academy for Software Engineering that just graduated its first class in June, and the Bronx Academy that that will be a year behind them. And then CSNYC was born to work with the community. We are working to find a way to bring, largely through teacher training, computer science to every single school in New York City, which 3 years ago when we launched seemed like an outlandish idea, but here we are. We're now celebrating our first anniversary of New York's Computer Science for All. 1 year down, 9 more to go, and we're working very hard with our partners in the New York City Department of Education, who are doing a tremendous job, as well as partners from all over the city. Now, CSNYC is a really small organization. There are only 5 of us, so most of us are here in this room right now. However, how we get our work done is by building a community, and that community is inclusive of everyone who might have any kind of stake in computer science, whether it be universities training teachers or taking our kids when they graduate from high schools, or the private sector and industry who will hire these kids or take them as interns or mentor them. And all of the nonprofits in New York and beyond who come to our city and train our teachers and work with our kids. And so we can't do it alone. We're building a movement and a community in New York. And what better way to give back to this community than to take on this new project that we're here to tell you about right now. So my colleague, Dr. Leanne DeLizer, has some news to share with you.
Hi. Welcome. So CSNYC is proud today to announce the launch of the CS for All Consortium. The consortium is a new organization designed to take the work that CSNYC has been doing in New York City of building a connected ecosystem and bring it forward to a national level. We've created the consortium in order to provide a network that connects the content providers with school districts and funders as a way to communicate with each other what we need and how we're going to get across this finish line. The consortium launches today with 188 members that have been approved. 99 of them provide content to help teach kids computer science in some way. From those members, we have 55 members who represent districts, states, and organizations that connect schools together. And 34 of our members are funders or supporters of computer science education, either through dollars or in-kind donations from the private sector. Private-public funding in this is one of the strongest reasons why CS for All will be a successful national bipartisan initiative. Sorry, can you go back one more? Oh, I think never mind, sorry. One of the things that makes the consortium so strong is that we're very diverse. We have 58 providers who focus on elementary school content, something that a few years ago many of us thought, we can't even get computer science in high schools. How are we going to get it down into K-5? Moving through, the consortium was initially funded by the National Science Foundation. Thank you very much, Jan, and is supported by and led by a steering committee of 6 organizations, including CSNYC, Code.org, the Association for Computing Machinery, CSTA, the College Board, and NCWIT. So making sure that we keep a focus on reaching broadly across the nation, addressing the needs of all students, and moving forward as a community to get to our goals of CS for All. The consortium launches today with a website that you can use to find out information about these members. So come and take a look. See our membership page where you can search and filter on the things that you might be looking for. View the resources that exist there and use us as a central hub to find the things that you need. No longer do you have to rely on Google search to find every way to teach computer science in schools, because we know that the reliance on that disadvantages schools, students, and parents who aren't familiar with the content knowledge. They don't know the words to type in to find us. And so hopefully through the consortium, they can have a one-stop shop to find if their school is a member and how they teach computer science and what programs might be available in our 90 providers who offer informal or out-of-school learning opportunities for students. Altogether, the CS for All consortium is made up of the people in this room. Please raise your hand if you are a member of the consortium. That right there is the biggest testament to how strong our community is as we bring people together to learn about CS for All. Thank you. All right. We've got this, right? Oh, come on. We've got this. Can you move the slide forward, please? So I gave you a celebrity earlier. I've given you some cute kids and some inspiring teachers. I think we've made it pretty clear that not only do we have a lot of momentum, but there's a lot of people excited about doing this and moving forward. And so I wanted to give you another celebrity, kind of the big cheese when it comes to being the CTO of the United States of America, and in general, a magnificent cheerleader for computer science education, and fun person to hang out with as well. So come on up, Megan Smith.
Thanks, Ruth. We are so lucky as a country that you came to the White House and helped kind of pull together this. So thank you for your leadership. And look at this room. You guys are awesome. I was upstairs. A lot of our district leadership, our education and teacher leadership were together. And I just came in the room really briefly as one of our leaders from Chicago. Are you in here? Was speaking. Is she in here? Yes, thank you. So one of so many, like 200 plus commitments, organizations coming together. You guys as a city stepping up and just listening. It was great because I was with some teammates from Baltimore who are just getting started on some of this, and they were able to listen to how far you've come in such a short period of time. And we know that others in this room, I know, as states, Rhode Island and Hawaii and Arkansas and others are like just really pushing. This is something that's completely possible, and this is the kind of country that when we decide to do things, we do them. We do it. We get it done. So it's an incredible day. The president called us to do this, talking about coding as the new 21st century literacy, right up there with the other basics, something that we must do. I also think that what is so important about coding, there's a sort of, the secrecy is confidence. Because as you do this, as you code, especially if you get to work on a topic, writing something, doing something about something you care deeply about, maybe a third C, confidence and care. That you get inspired in a way that's really different. For myself as a child, we were lucky. I went to a great school, a public school in Buffalo in the city. Our teachers had created the program, and they made science fair mandatory. And at the time, President Carter was here at the White House putting solar panels on the White House and working on the energy crisis and policy and all kinds of things. And I was inspired to try to do something about that problem personally in my small science fair project in my small way. And it gave me confidence, because doing things is, the research all shows that doing this stuff makes you know that it's fun and it's really interesting, and it's not as boring or daunting or scary or whatever it is that everybody's all decided that it is, but it makes you understand it in whole other ways. And you get the confidence that you can advance the field, that you can affect your world, that you can change things. I'm so proud of the Muskogee Creek Nation folks. Are you here? Yeah, okay. So you guys are doing Head Start and preschool together with, I think, KISS Institute for Practical Robotics. Is that right? I don't know if they're with you, but that's incredible. And thinking about, think about a 3-year-old, their brain is like twice as wired as adults, right? They are ready, they can learn anything. And instead of just handing them the phone to play with, like play the game, why don't you make the game, right? Make the game. I brought my Raspberry Pi and Arduinos. I also am really proud of the Pi team. If you look at this graphic, we want all of our children, to have this experience and this confidence. They, on their board that's going all across England to second graders, they just happen to choose 2 children of color, just to make sure that all kids are seeing themselves. I was just at out west on Monday for the TechCrunch events that are going on. We were talking about the things that the president has been leading about bringing digital and tech into this government, our service delivery. Can we be as awesome as Amazon and Facebook and Google and Twitter right out of the federal government and really deliver services to the American people that everyone deserves? And we're working on that with everybody. We also are doing tech hire with our adults, very similar to the Computer Science for All movement. Tech Hire is using code boot camps, and I know there's some announcements today. I think the Tech Opportunity Fund, is it Iron Yard folks here? Are you guys? Yes, okay. So Code Fellows, Operation Hope, people getting together to help people with scholarship money and awareness of joining into this incredible community. I was upstairs with Ed Felton. He is in our team, he's Deputy CTO, and he's really leading and championing a lot of the president's requests for us to engage in a conversation about artificial intelligence and machine learning. And so this past spring and summer, we're doing an incredible series of conversations hosted with our wonderful university colleagues. University of Washington hosted a whole conversation with us about law and policy in AI and machine learning. We had some work at NYU about economics and jobs, work with the Carnegie Mellon team about safety and control, work here in Washington about AI for good. AI for conservation, AI for learning, AI for all these different pieces, and then a really great program around the Global Entrepreneurship Summit. We had entrepreneurs from all over the world, 800 of them, including an American contingent from nearly every state. 80 folks were hosting from our country, and so there's a conversation about AI and machine learning. And so he said to me, 2 things that I wanted to share from thinking about AI. One was, he said that Burning Glass has just published, I guess it's their real-time labor market analysis of growing demand in coding skills. And in that, they did a crawl across jobs that were being posted, and they looked at the pay in the jobs, and in the top quartile, so the jobs that are paid the highest in our country, that top quartile, 49% of them required coding. That's amazing. And it wasn't, maybe you weren't going to code for the job, but you needed awareness and knowledge of coding to have that job. We want all of our children and all of our adults to be ready to take those jobs to lift this economy and solve the problems that we need to solve. So the movement we're on is important for every American. And the one that you guys are on is really heavily focused on our children, our littlest children, which is really so exciting. Another part of this that the president's really been pushing on us, again, as I said, like everybody in, we've been doing a lot of work with media. And so out at TechCrunch, there were 2 things that happened. One was that we were working in June, there was the United States of Women, really a summary of all the president's work, sort of celebrating how far we've come in many different areas and trying to accelerate ourselves to really get to the point of equality and inclusion that we need to do on behalf of women. And at that event, the First Lady, of course, was speaking, and there was an announcement in the Let Girls Learn track about something called Built by Girls. And so they ran a contest this summer with kids, and there were 21 of these girls at TechCrunch presenting their work. There was a kid there, a junior in high school, who had used machine learning AI algorithms to do work on face recognition to detect early onset Parkinson, in the hopes that you could add this to products like Snapchat and other places and really detect and support and help people to get the kinds of treatments they would need. Amazing, right? How do we get this into the hands of all of our kids so they can work in real stuff? On Monday, we had the White House Summit on Next Generation High Schools. Wouldn't it be awesome as part of any class, history class, English class? What if you were doing, in English, your writing was published digitally, and you were interacting in comments with everybody and knew how to script and add stuff, and you were digitally fluent as a maker Sort of the computer science, the computational side of English and history and music and all of those things. And so thinking about the kids being able to do that. The other thing, Mike Judge was on stage, who does, of course, The Office and Silicon Valley, the show. And he was really kind of holding a mirror back in a satirical way back at the tech community. Because there's been a lot of discussion about the cast in Silicon Valley. It's not very diverse. And he held a mirror back and said, the way that we did a lot of our casting work, we walked around this conference and we videotaped you guys. And then we did the same thing. We just showed what you had. You're not very diverse, so you need to work on that. So he was really putting that call out there to them. And the thing that's really exciting about that, and what the president really knows, and what we know, is the greatest strength of America is our people. And whether it's cybersecurity and being the most secure, or whether it's solving the hardest social problems, or whether it's advancement in sort of our infrastructure and self-driving cars and new ways of doing things and sensors and kind of Internet of Things and network, and solving community and faith-based work and neighborhood work that we might do using these digital tools, we're a group of people on the planet who really draw from the whole planet in such an interesting way, whether we are Native Americans who've been here since the beginning or whether we just got off the plane, perhaps as a refugee, right? And so that's our greatest asset. And so that asset mobilized is an extraordinary future that I want to be in. And so you guys are about that. You are all about making that happen, from Chicago to Oklahoma to Hawaii to Rhode Island to Florida to all across the country. I was looking at some of the candidates where we don't talk about the election a lot, but some of the candidates were working in West Virginia, and people were talking about some of the challenges that are persistent in places like in southern West Virginia as the coal industry shifts and other things. And there's a really amazing group in eastern Kentucky, I don't know if they're here today, but doing coal to code and really work on the next generation of jobs. I'm from Buffalo, New York, and I was just driving in southern Buffalo. When we were kids, my math teacher used to talk about kind of the dust on her car in southern Buffalo. She'd rub the car and dust off her car because a lot of the stuff from the steel industry was sitting on her car. And there's a new solar plant going into the Republic Steel space. There's startup incubators in Buffalo. There's windmills at the end of Lake Erie. The president's gone from 3% of green energy into 7%, and a lot of the green energy movement includes digital and controls and all of the pieces. In fact, as Mark Andreessen says, software eats the world. So every industry, I know that the 4-H kids are about to do a program, I think on October 5th, around UAV and drones and agriculture tech, across our country. It's everywhere. So, the NSF team, Jan is here, thank you for the leadership for so many years that have gotten to this point where we're beginning to IPO this idea. And you guys, yeah, thank you. The National Science Foundation is a national treasure, and they activate the capabilities of people through grant making and bringing people together, and have done, there's $25 million of grants here. The new consortium we just heard about, interagency working group that we're announcing, and the Girl Scouts. Was it 1.2 million girls now doing computational thinking, and CS. That later, right before the holidays, there's going to be a new movie called Hidden Figures, and we got to visit the set. Last year, the president awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom to Katherine Johnson. How many people in this room know of Katherine? It's so interesting. We're starting to more, like a couple months ago, it would have been like 2 or 3 of us. So most people don't know that women and men together have invented this industry from the beginning. Whether it was Ada Lovelace and Charles Babbage in the early days in England with his first mechanical computer and her first invention of an algorithmic idea, an algorithm. Lord Byron's poet math daughter, the inventor of coding. Grace Hopper, who felt like a lot more people could do this if we weren't writing a machine code and we would have a language, invented the first compiler, the first translator, and began to program in an Englishy language of COBOL. And and Turing and so many people who've been doing this together. But somehow our stories got really lopsided and we haven't told the whole truth. We need to tell the whole truth of all the inventors of all of these things because, as Churchill said, the further back you can look, the farther forward you will see. We've always been together on the Star Trek Enterprise deck working together. As Gene Roddenberry wanted us to know, and we've been doing that from the beginning. Whether it's the ENIAC programmers, the 6 women who wrote the first code in this country, invented the sort routines, and brought us into the beginning of the computer science digital age, whose story was almost lost, with Eckert and Mauchly, the most incredible hardware designers. And so we want to remember them, and so I'm so excited that Hollywood is stepping in. It's one of the last areas of changing our culture. Let's make this the new normal, that it's super cool, and everybody does it. And so being able to see these incredible actresses bring, Katherine Johnson and Dorothy Vaughan and these others back into the truth. There was an African-American woman. She is just turned 98. She was born 2 years before women got the vote, and she did calculate the trajectories for Alan Shepard, John Glenn, and the Apollo mission. And so it changes the future to know about her and about Turing, and about Gates, and about Jobs, and Joanna Hoffman, and Susan Kare, who's all the graphics, all of them all the time. So I can't wait to see who appears from the work that you are doing and the solutions they will bring. Because so many people on this planet, especially in this country, are interested in all kinds of topics. And if we can arm them with these skills and the confidence, we're going to solve all the problems. The United Nations is meeting next week. We're working on the Sustainable Development Goals. We get our kids into this stuff. We get everyone into this stuff, our TechCard colleagues. Really, the future will be quite extraordinary. So thank you so much for being here and for everything you're doing. Together, this is an all-hands-on-deck effort. It takes all of us. Thank you very much.
So it's not over. Thank you, Megan. That was fantastic, and it's always great to hear all the inspiring things. She holds so much in her brain. It's crazy. She has so much information. So we are going to end our broadcast today. So thank you to our visiting audience from the internet. And thank you to everybody who's been participating via social media. This has been really a labor of love for me and a really, really amazing experience. I have to say, I have such an amazing set of colleagues here at the White House that it seems effortless to all of you, but we're all making magic. And it's fantastic being here.